If you guys have been around the channel for a while, you guys would already know where we're at. We are at Umbra Strength, and it is week 4 SBD. Things are obviously looking a little bit different as before. Today we'll have a heavy bench, moderately heavy deadlift, and then we'll be doing some accessories in place of the squat as of right now, due to the back not being able to tolerate squat very well. And a lot has changed here, and I'll probably show you guys shortly. But right now we're in the middle of bench pressing. We're looking for loading up anywhere between 405 and 415 today. Pretty confident at range. I feel like I'm on top of the world right now. I've only done one warm up though, so truth be told, I obviously don't have a great picture of what's going on yet. I'll be able to have a little bit more of an idea as we get a couple deeper, probably closer to 365 range, but excited for today. Just wanted to point out too, they just picked up 2 Eleiko racks with the Sky Pad too. I tell you what, this is a huge upgrade. The big thing is the only reason they're out of order right now is purely for the fact that the racks are not bolted down because I haven't decided where they're going to put them yet. But very excited in the future to be able to get more exposure to these things because this is the same pad I benched on at Powerlifting American Nationals. I was hoping that frame was a little bit higher so I didn't have to sit all the way on the ground. But I'm checking out this OVR velocity tracker today, and I figured out finally what was going on and what was not allowing me to track properly was purely the fact that the range of motion setting was too low, or too high, I guess. The minimum range of motion on the OVR tracker was too high, and I had to change that setting down to 6 inches. Now it's tracking perfectly. Today, it's saying based off of my just last warm-up I took, which was 355, that my top end bench press is 395 pounds, which is actually below range. So I'm not gonna pay too much attention to it. I just gotta see how the next warm-up or 2 goes to really gauge where I should be going for the day. All right, so sadly it does seem that bench press is starting to feel the effects of the cut. Obviously we were down about a similar body weight the last block, but I don't think it had been long enough that the lower body weight had caught up to the bench training per se. So with that being said, the velocity tracker actually says my estimated 1 rep is 391 pounds. We have 395 loaded up right here. Now, this could end up being our top single for the day, but I'm really hoping that we can at least make it to the 405 range. With that being said, let's try to do our best to make this final warm-up move as fast as possible, and hopefully set up that top single in range. Come on. Although the top end didn't show up the way we wanted, we still got the work to do on the back down. So 315 for 3 sets of 5. I'm probably gonna show you only one of them, but we're gonna make this shit fly. We're gonna make up for that top set disappointment. All right, I wish I could say deadlifts were going better than bench press, but at least so far I can't. 225 felt the heaviest it's probably ever has. And to be fair, this has been a rough week of variables when it comes to pissing off the back multiple times during the week. With that being said, it's not gonna stop me. I'm still gonna try to go up to the prescription that we have prescribed, which is, I believe, a 7 to 8 top single. So we'll use the data that the OVR provides us to pick a smart number. That is assuming that it provides enough data to give us a rough estimate of our top end range. 315 pounds is loaded. I can't say, like I said, that it's going any better than bench press right now. I guess we'll see how it goes. I'm hoping that this set will provide enough data for the OVR to give us an idea of top end, because honestly, based off of 225, I didn't want to go to 315. So. 405 is loaded, and truth be told, as I was kind of talking about, I was just telling somebody about, with the current injury I'm dealing with, I feel like as long as I'm very intentful with all of my movements and I'm able to train through, I gotta be super patient off the floor, which obviously isn't typical for conventional. And same thing with the force I'm applying once I initiate the pull. I can't go gun-ho, like grip and rip, just because that amount of force, that amount of explosivity, it seems to be part of what causes said injury, right? So, you know, even when I get back to squats, it's gonna be the same case you guys seen recently. It's not gonna be something where I'm trying to make the bar move as fast as possible. I'm just trying to be as intentful as possible with all my movements. And Honestly, the earlier deadlift warm-ups felt like shit. Truth be told, I usually squat beforehand, obviously, so I'm in a much better condition to start deadlifting. Today I had to spend a little bit more time doing dynamics and bullshit to get warmed up for the actual lift itself, and so far things would be going a lot better. 365 was just 10 pounds below what I pulled for week 2 and week 3. Just obviously the variables before those sessions were awful. So today we got 405 loaded up on this bar. We still haven't figured out where we're going for top end. These next few warm-ups are really gonna, obviously tell us where we're going. So hopefully things continue to go well. I would love to pull 500 pounds today at RP 8 or below. But obviously, given the last couple weeks of training, that is a very, very big reach in my opinion. Gonna be our top single for the day. We got 435 pounds loaded up. Obviously, this is far cry from the top end, but this is still, a 60-ish pound jump from the week 3, which I think anything beyond this, I'm gonna overreach and probably end up causing a bit of pain or flare up. So we're playing it smart. We're being safe here and just loading what is safe for the day, and then we'll go to back downs. Hopefully, we can take the back downs a little bit heavier, a little bit more aggressive. But again, I'm not really gonna know until we get there. I gotta see how the back feels after this. What the fuck? So, didn't chalk up, not that I normally do, especially at loads like this. But I had the bar gripped a little high in my hand, and I actually ended up tearing a callus open on 500 or on 435 pounds of all things. That's my fault for not, taking care of them. The moment they get a little tick, you gotta cut them fuckers off, grind them down a little bit. So yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I can't believe I just dropped that lockout. That was kind of wild. At least I finished it, and then it started cutting through my hand. But we're gonna load back down. So it didn't feel awful. It was hard though. I might be the worst straps puller known to man, but we're gonna have to pull the straps out for these back downs, considering I tore that callus open. We loaded 345 pounds. Obviously, that's not something crazy heavy, but I just wanted to be kind of conservative coming off the top set, looking for like an RP 5 or so. So hopefully we can make this move relatively comfortably. I don't think it's gonna be too bad. It's just a matter of like pulling with straps makes it feel more like an RDL, because I feel like I don't drive off the floor as much as my quads, and it's more of a hinge. So I don't know, it's really, really funky for me. I have to set up like from the ground up, or from the top down, I mean, not from the ground up. So for me to brace in that position is really, really funky. Finally on to our accessories after finishing the deadlift. Today we're playing around a little bit. I talked to my coach, since they have the Rogue Pit Shark belt squat here, that's what I was gonna try to focus on using today. But I will say I'm not a huge fan of it. I think I'm gonna show you guys a video of one set. But beyond that, I think I might play around with something else like the pendulum squat or something potentially. We finally arrived at the end of today's session. There's some good and there's some bad. For bench, I think I definitely pissed off my left shoulder. It really did get in the way. It seemed that every time I applied pressure into the bar and every time I re-racked the weight, there would be a sharp pain kind of traveling through my forearm. And that's kind of reminiscent of when I had dislocated or not properly replaced my, my shoulder back when I originally had that injury. To be fair, it's not something I ever got surgery on, so it is still something that is kind of vulnerable. And I think I pissed it off on the secondary session last week. So just something to be mindful of going forward. Hopefully that kind of resolves itself, because walking around doing general threes, I'm not feeling any type of pain. I had only really experienced pain doing bench press. And it was really only once I got to probably 3 plates forward. As for the deadlift, I think things went about as well as I could have expected there pretty much. Obviously on the top single of 435, it tore open a callus after I had locked it out, so I did end up dropping it, but I'm not really super concerned. I ended up taking the back downs with straps, which was not fun. It always feels more like an RDL for me because I don't think I do a great job of getting my torso back to proper position. So there's a lot more back flexion than I'd like, especially with how the back is feeling as of right now. But overall, it was a pretty good session. It was nice to get in the back. It was nice to get some experience and some volume on the belt squat. And then I played around with a couple other things, just trying to figure out how the body's truthfully feeling and how is the back. And it seemed to tolerate everything pretty damn well. So I'm pretty happy with how this block ended, I guess. I'm not really emotionally attached to this performance in any type of way. And it's not because I don't care, it's just like, it's been a rough block and there's been a good amount of rough variables. So I'm just thankful that I feel like I'm leaving this session feeling better than I have been the past few weeks. And the fact that we made it through without any tweaks or anything is big, you know. So with that being said, if you guys did make this fun video, I very much do appreciate it. Do not forget, obviously, I am partnered up with Gorilla Mind, so you can use my code SDF to save yourself 10% at checkout and directly support me. Beyond that, I am also the head coach at SDF Coaching, so if you guys would like an inquiry about that, you can go onto my Instagram, see my full resume of all my training, as well as my clients' meets and training performances. But like I said, if you guys did make this far, I very much do appreciate it. I hope to see you guys on the next video. Hopefully we raise the baseline from where it was going into this block, and we can continue to replicate that going forward.